Hello everyone and welcome back to the main stage. We are about to begin our first activity of the day. We are joined by Angela from the Student Life Center along with an amazing group of student leaders. Angela will be moderating the panel as they discuss the topic of student experience, life outside the classroom. Please join me in welcoming Angela and our current Brescia student leaders.
Hello, thank you so much, Sophie. I am really happy to be here with all of you today and to be able to talk about kind of life outside the classroom and what that experience is like to be a Brescia student. So I'm really excited to be here today, and I know our student leaders are really excited to join the conversation and to interact with all of you. So thank you so much for joining us. I am, as Sophie said, Angela, and I'm one of the coordinators of student life and learning here at Brescia. So my job is essentially students and creating student experiences and supporting students throughout their journey. So under my portfolio, I oversee things like the orientation program, the professional mentoring program, career advising, different services and supports like that. So yeah, I'm really excited to meet you all today. We are going to begin with our student panel. I'm just going to share my screen so that everybody is able to see what we're doing. Oh, it's not letting me. Not letting me share my screen. So we are just going to steamroll through that, that option. Panelists, just a little friendly reminder that please mute yourself when you're not speaking. And then, of course, we're all respectful. Everyone has such great questions, and we want to have such open dialogue during the conversation. And audience members, feel free to ask any questions or comments by writing in the chat. The session will be recorded and online and available all next week. So tune in and rewatch if you kind of have questions but don't feel like writing them in or anything like that. So we will start with a panel introduction. So you're going to kind of hear from all of these lovely individuals. And then we're going to go in and ask each of the panelists 5 or 6 questions, guys, general overview questions. And then at the end, there will be an open Q&A session. So that's when, if you haven't already written a question in the chat and you're really wondering about something, or maybe something that the panelists have said has really like piqued something for you, definitely write those questions in the chat for us and we'll make sure you get your answers that you need. So just moving forward, I'm seeing the backstage thing. There is an icon for me to share my screen, but it doesn't let me click it. I don't know why. So I'm going to go around to the panel. I don't know what order everyone else is seeing this in, but if you could just state your name, your year of study, your academic program, and your hometown as kind of like your 4 tidbits, that would be really great. And let's just start off with the first person to my right, Georgia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Georgia. I am currently in my 3rd year at Brescia. I am double majoring in family studies and French for teaching. And my hometown is Belle River, Ontario. It's near Windsor.
I like when it's a small town, you always have to go to like the level up. What's the next one? I'm a small town vibe, so I get that. Thanks so much for joining us today, Georgia. Next in my view is Sarah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I am currently in my 3rd year at Brescia in an honor specialization in food science and technology alongside a minor in political science. And I am from Mississauga, Ontario.
And you don't have to go to the next level up with one of those.
Thankfully not.
That's great. Shanique, if you can introduce yourself next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shanique. I am in the 3rd year also at Brescia. I'm currently pursuing an honors double major in accounting and psychology, and I'm from St. Lucia. That's an island in the Caribbean, for anyone that doesn't know.
Awesome. And thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. All right, Madison, you're next in my view.
Hi, my name's Madison. I'm in my second year here at Brescia in the Family Studies major with a minor in French. And I'm from Kamlaki, which is just outside of Sarnia.
Cool. I've never heard of it, but it's a fun name.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, Madison. And I love it because we have such a broad array of like programs and stuff too, which I didn't really think about, but I'm loving that happened. So thank you for that. That's great. We're going to kind of dive into the questions next because we want to make sure we have a ton of time to have this great conversation and then a lot of time for the Q&A at the end. So the first question, and this is, we can go in kind of that same order if that's okay with all of you. Can you highlight a few of the programs, clubs, or leadership opportunities that you're currently involved in at Brescia? So what have you been doing? Yeah.
So I am currently a soft peer student leader. So we help with orientation week, and we also keep in touch with incoming students throughout the year and make sure they're supported, answer all their questions as they come in. And I am also part of the French volunteer program. So during a normal year, we would be in schools volunteering, but this year we're doing online tutoring, which is honestly just as fun. So if you're in the French program, there's that opportunity as well.
Oh, super cool. I like that. I like that little like make it work with COVID. Sarah, what about you?
So like Georgia, I'm also heavily involved in the orientation program. So I've been involved for the past 3-ish years now, and I love meeting new students, seeing new faces around campus, and really building those connections. Additionally, I am on the Brescia University College Student Council. I've been on this council for like almost a year now, and I'm going to be on it next year too, so I'm really excited for that. And I'm also a student ambassador for Brescia, so we help with summer orientation days and also kind of adjusting new students to Brescia. And I'm also part of SHAE, so it stands for Students Human Ecology Association, Student Human Ecology Association. So many acronyms to remember.
And it's a mouthful.
Exactly. But that's heavily involved with like food nutrition courses as well as family studies. And then I'm on SNAP, which is Sports Nutrition Athlete Project. So lots of ways to get involved if you're in a variety of programs here at Brescia.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love it. That is a lot. My gosh. Shanique, you're a bit of an every woman, so kind of outline what you're all involved in here on campus.
Okay, so I'm an international student facilitator. So I work closely with the international program coordinator. I help plan events for international students. I connect with students through email lately, since everything is online, if they have any questions, incoming students. I'm also the Vice President of Finance on the Brescia Multicultural Club. So it's been a little different this year since it is our first year running. It's been online, but we host lots of events for everyone. And we just expose everyone to the different cultures, different foods, different dances. Yeah, it's just all around a good time.
They really are. I love your events and the community. It's just so great to see domestic, international, like all students, they're just celebrating various cultures that we have on campus. And yeah, it's such an engaging group, that's for sure. Madison, what about you? What are you involved in?
I'm also a SOPH and part of the orientation program. So like we help incoming first years, we run a week, which is so much fun. And I just love getting to know all the new students. And then I'm also on the student ambassador team for Brescia, where we run tours and like talk to prospective students, tell them all there is that Brescia has to offer. And then I was an exec on the residence council here at Brescia. And then I was also a participant, like I was just general member last year.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You all do so much, which is really interesting because kind of the next question that we want to hear about is like, with all that you do, academics, your life outside of school, and your extracurriculars, what does a typical day as a Brescia student look like pre-COVID?
Yeah, so pre-COVID, first year I lived in residence, so it was super convenient to be 3 minutes, not even away from my classes.
Yeah.
But since then I've moved off campus, and I've been off campus for 2 years now. So usually getting up in the morning, taking time for myself, kind of thinking about what I need to do that day, but not stressing about it. And then I get ready for the day and listen to a podcast or music or something that makes me laugh just to get me going for the day. Then I'll get ready and eat breakfast. And if any of my roommates also have class, we would walk to campus together, get some fresh air. And I would go to class, and between classes, if I had to be on campus all day, I would find a fun spot to sit and study and work on assignments. Some of my favorite places are outside, the picnic tables when it's nice outside. And the library, and even the Mercado. There's high tables by the Starbucks that we usually like to sit at because we like to people watch too, which is fun. And then also everyone's coming in that way, so you can say hi to whoever you see, right?
It's not the place to stay focused, but it is a great place.
Yeah, but then you get feedback. Sorry, my dog is going nuts. We have people working on the roof. So then I usually pack a lunch or a snack, depending on how long I'm going to be on campus. Sometimes I'll treat myself to the Mercado food because it's better than anything that I can cook. And sometimes Starbucks. And then I walk back home and I spend time with my roommates and we watch a movie. This year we've been making puzzles a lot. We always have a puzzle on the go. Or we just hang out and talk and vent if we need to and just support each other. And then I just take some more time to myself and get ready for bed and go to bed and do it all again the next day.
I love it. Busy but fun. What about you, Sarah?
All right. So Georgia really summed that up really well. So so usually waking up early mornings, depending on what time classes start. And then thankfully I live really close to Brescia. So it's about a 10-minute walk. So it's not too bad to get fresh air, get outside. Unfortunately can't do that now, so I'm stuck at home. But so I usually go to Brescia. They have Starbucks on campus. So like perfect early morning coffee for me. And then I'd have class, and then I'd find a place to sit on campus, whether it be in the Mercado or in the new academic pavilion. There's lots of cool places to study there, lots of bright natural lighting. There's always friendly faces around campus. So even, unexpectedly bumping into someone, and it just turns into a 2-hour conversation. So love those occurrences. And then after classes end, I'd probably go home, just get some dinner going, and then I'd go to the gym late night, and then I'd come home, put in a movie or watch some Netflix, and then I usually listen to like a sleep mindful podcast before going to sleep, because that just helps me like relax and calm down before the day, and then repeat every single day after that. So it's just it's a very fun but good day to have.
I like it. Shanique, is your days pretty similar, or do you have little intersections in there as well? Different things you do?
Well, I'd love to say that I walk to school pre-COVID like Georgia and Sarah, but I don't. I take the bus because I feel like, I guess I could walk, but I would rather not be out of breath by the time I got to class.
Up the hill.
Yeah, because pre-Brescia, for some reason, I always used to get 8:30 classes. So I would, I guess, if I had time for breakfast that morning, I would have breakfast and I would go to school, but most times not. So I would go to my 8:30 class, and then after I would grab something to eat at the Mercado, and then I would find a nice spot to stay in until my next class. So usually my spot would be in Ursuline Hall. It's just so quiet there, and there's not a lot of people in there. I don't think a lot of people know about the different rooms that you could just study in. And then I usually have a late class as well. So then I'd go to my late class, get home around 6 or 9, depending on how late my classes were, get something to eat, do my assignments due the next day, and just do it all again the next day.
Awesome. Love it. Thanks, Shanique. Madison, what about you?
So for me, I never had morning classes.
Oh,
This year was my first year with morning classes. I had an 8:30 a.m. and I was living at home, so I was commuting an hour drive in the morning. But when I was on campus, all my classes were like night classes. I didn't start until 1:30 in the afternoon, and I went to about like 9. So that was fun. I actually really like night classes though, because I hate having to get up early in the morning. So if I have a quiet morning, or if I don't have a morning class, my day is very, very quiet. I like wake up at 11, and then I always start my day with a smoothie. I drink a lot of smoothies, and then maybe some homework, maybe work. I have a tutoring job, so I go tutoring every day of the week, and then class at night, and then like dinner. I usually would do dinner before class, but class goes past 9, and then driving home. I could probably walk to Brescia. I wouldn't want to. I live by Richmond and Oxford. I'm just gonna take my cars.
All modes of transportation. I love it. Thanks so much. So I'm gonna ask this next question. It's a really good one because I think it does have such a different impact depending on who you are and what you're involved in. But how has being involved on campus affected your overall student experience? And yeah, what has that been like for you?
For me, it has been amazing because it has just increased my admiration for Brescia because I get to see some of the behind the scenes stuff. And I meet people that I otherwise wouldn't have met because we're not in the same program. So I don't see them in class.
Right.
Or I didn't meet them in residence. So by being a part of these other teams, I now have friends from all different programs, all different years, that I get all their perspectives, and we all have so much knowledge that I'm learning something new about Brescia like all the time. And it's fun. I couldn't express how much I love it because it's just amazing.
I like that. I think that's a really good point about like meeting other people from other programs. You're kind of right. Like like you're a little bit insulated unless you're taking electives and different things to the people that you know, kind of like your cohort. And yeah, getting involved really does like open up your community on campus. I agree. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
Especially at Brescia, when your classes are so small and your program is quite small, there's still a lot of students that you see all the time, but then once you make those connections through the soft program or through student council or whatever, you now know who they are. And then, like I said, in my daily routine, if you see them walking past you, then you have a quick conversation, or sometimes they do turn into 2-hour conversations, but it's always worth it.
Yeah. I love it. Sarah, what about you? How has this affected your experience at Brescia?
So I feel like being involved at Brescia through various clubs and programs really helped make Brescia that home away from home. I feel like here in Mississauga, I have like my friends from high school and everything, and then going 2 hours away to London, I knew nobody. But then getting involved in all these programs, like you make those connections, you gain those friendships, and it just makes that like environment feel more like home. And I know Brescia's already a smaller community, so I feel like I know like over 50% of the population, and it's like I love it. Like I want to know 100%. But just gaining those experiences and making those friendships has really helped make this these last 3 years at Brescia like unforgettable. And I've gained so many friendships that I will treasure for a lifetime. So that's probably how it's affected my personal experience.
I love that. And it's true though. Like you walk around campus and like I'm staff and I'm just like, hey. Like you just know everyone and it's awesome. It does make you feel like you're just surrounded by like a bunch of friends or like you're like new Brescia family. You're so right. I like that. Shanique, what about you? How's it impacted your experience?
Yeah, just like Sarah said, I came from St. Lucia. It was my first time in Canada when I came to Brescia. I'd never visited before, so I didn't know anyone. I stayed on in res at Clare Hall during my first year, and I didn't get as involved. So I was always in my room. I was isolated, like always just studying alone. So for the second year, I made sure that I was like, I'm not gonna be by myself studying in my room all day. So getting involved, I made so many friends. It's also helped my my public speaking, because through getting involved, you have to like show up at all these events and like talk to so many students. I feel like it's helped me flourish, and now I feel more comfortable talking to people and just presenting in general. So I think that's the main way that it's changed my personal life, is just helping me be more confident when speaking to others. Yeah.
That's a big one though. And that's so transferable to like so many aspects of your life and of your future that you'll be using in like your jobs and things like that. So a great foundation to build off of as you move forward. Oh, that is great. Madison, what about you? How has it impacted you?
I have really enjoyed being involved at Brescia. I've gotten involved in like a lot of things. And with the SOFT program, I have really enjoyed being able to make connections with so many new students. And like some of you stated, every time you walk around Brescia, I feel like I know like everyone there. So it's just so nice to be able to like walk around and like say hi to every single person that you see. It creates a really good sense of community that I think is really important to feel at home. And like when living in Clare Hall, I found getting involved in residence council was really beneficial, because it like helped me know when things were happening and like see all like get to experience all these different opportunities that you wouldn't 100% know about. And it was just a great experience to be part of.
I like that. And it's nice too, because then when you do venture out, I find like to Western and like the other campuses, you see people that you know still, because we all migrate down. So it kind of makes even those bigger campuses and those bigger classroom settings feel a little bit homier, because you're just like, oh wait, I know that person, or like that's a Brescia student, or maybe you kind of have built relationships through your involvements with kind of the other affiliates. So then you're like, oh, okay, that's my friend from Huron or my friend from Kings. So it makes the campus community feel a little bit closer and tighter. That's for sure. Thank you for that. I love that. And this kind of will relate more to our viewers today. What advice would you give a high school student considering Brescia? What would be your advice to them? And I want to, before we start kind of on this note, next we will be following up with the Q&A. So if you do have any questions for any of our student leaders, or just general questions for overall group, please make sure you're putting them in the chat, and we will get to them after we answer this next question. Yeah, so Giorgio, what would your advice be?
I would say do what you feel is best for you. I had a hard time deciding where I wanted to go. I was lucky enough to be able to be in person on campus for open house, and it was the March break open house. I was in grade 12, and when I drove onto campus that day, I just knew that's where I wanted to be, and that's where I needed to be. I have no other way to explain it, but even just listening to us talk today, if you are like, that is something I want to do, that is something that sounds interesting to me, then go with your gut feeling. If you live close enough to Brescia, go drive on campus. See if you get the same feeling that I did, because you won't know until your gut tells you what you need to do. And fortunately, that's what happened for me. And you can see yourself pursuing your education in that place. If you don't really want to go there, you have too many outside people influencing your decision, then you might regret making a decision that you did make and be like, well, what would have happened if I had gone there? But you know, you may not think you don't know that what you want to do, but in all honesty, you will know when you make the right decision, because it's like a full body experience and you're excited for it and you can see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it just feels right. Yeah, like that intuition, that inner intuition. Yeah. Sarah, what would your advice be for people who are considering Brescia?
I would have to kind of combine this into 2 points, but first, just to get involved. I feel like you really start to make those connections and really start to feel like this is your home once you get involved, once you start meeting people. And you'll gain so much out of those experiences, whether it be gaining communication skills, leadership skills, friendships. And then on top of that, finding that balance for yourself, finding the balance between school, extracurriculars, time for yourself. I'm a very heavy advocate where it's like, I cannot be just school. I cannot be just extracurriculars. I have to find that balance because I feel like that's how I thrive. And especially making time for yourself. I know self-awareness is huge nowadays. So it's like taking time if you need it for yourself or you need that distraction from school, find something that just really helps you reconnect to yourself. But that's what I would suggest.
I agree. It's a big transition to go to any new environment, any new institution, anything like that. It will be a transition. And so I think the both of you are right. Like really kind of giving yourself time and space to get involved in ways that feel good with where you're at right now. Like maybe that's just like making a new friend in class. Maybe that's like being a lead in a school project, like class project, and then like really working your way up as you build that comfort level on campus, because so many of our student leaders like are in today, they didn't start off like dive right in and got really involved right away. You kind of have to get your bearings and then you get going, and that's good. Like you just have to do what feels right for you. And then we're all here to support you and provide those opportunities if you want. So yeah, what about you, Shanique? What would you say your influences?
Well, I know that like I was on the fence about like whether I wanted to come to Brescia or not, but what sold me, and it is true, is that you kind of get the best of both worlds. Like I feel safe at Brescia. I know everyone. Like the classes are smaller, but you also have the option to take courses at all of the other campuses. So I feel like I get the best of both worlds with my small community at Brescia, but then I could go main campus and take a class with like 100 students and still, so it's just you're exposed to everything, the best of both worlds. There's 4 campuses. I mean, the possibilities are limitless. Like you can't go wrong. So
it's nice. You're right. Like Brescia can be like your great, like safe space, like your comfort zone. And then if you want to branch out further and like take on more leadership or take on like, bigger experiences, you can go to Western too. So it just depends. I was a small town gal, so I liked kind of dipping my toes into things a little bit gradual. And so, you really can make the most of your experience having all of these options. That's a really good point, Shanique. What about you, Madison?
I would say university is what you make of it, and you should get involved in as many things as you can because it just makes your experience so much better. And like I'm involved in like the a cappella club at Western, and like things like that are just like they just really make your university experience better. So very important, just get out of your room. O week. I know some girls who didn't even participate in O week. My first year, O week was the most amazing week of my life. Like I literally think about it, I'm like, oh wow. I reminisce all the time. But I would totally like make sure you participate in all of these opportunities because there's so much that you could do. And also if you follow along with Western's like their social medias, they have so many free and wonderful events at Western that you can go to. Like Nuit Violet is this really cool like art show, and there's all these little festival-y things. I went to a music festival last year, and there's just so many little things that you can go to that are just so much fun. There was roller skating last year. Like these are like free events. There's so much that you can get involved in and do. And it's just like it makes your experience so much better.
Awesome. So I'm going to switch to some audience questions, which is great. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. And we can just answer these like kind of popcorn style. The first question is from Madison B. Thank you so much. What would you say was the toughest challenge you faced in university, and how did Brescia support these challenges? That is a really good question.
I can answer this one for
Yeah.
sure. So the toughest thing was moving away from home.
Right.
I'm a very family-oriented person, and I'm the oldest of my siblings and all my cousins. So I was the first one to leave away from home.
Right.
So it was a huge transition, and it was hard. Like you, not trying to scare anyone, but I'm just being honest. Like I was excited for like this whole university thing, decorating my dorm room, meeting new people. That wore off very quickly because I was homesick.
Right.
The orientation program was happening during that time. So the softs were there, the RAs were there, they were getting me out of my room and participating in things. So I wasn't thinking about being away from home. I was thinking about meeting these people and making new friends and being where I wanted to be, because I knew that's where I wanted to be. You just have to get over the hump of being homesick, feeling like you want to go home, or thinking it's too hard because it's a lot of work. It's a lot compared to high school, but it's manageable. And if you seek the support, and we as softs will seek you out and make sure that you are okay and you're getting what you need, and we direct you to resources. I had softs telling me, well, try doing this and this. And I was lucky enough that I didn't have to stay. I had the option where I could go home, refresh, and come back. Like, if you have the opportunity, you don't have to feel stuck. And even if you don't have that opportunity, make those connections on campus, because like we've mentioned, it's your home away from home.
Right.
Like, I'm not in London right now, but I go to London and I'm with my friends and we talk about school. We reflect on first year. That was only 2 years ago, but we're like, wow, remember this? It's so much better now. Like, you just have to get over that bump of transitioning. And that's what the softs and the staff and the faculty at Brescia are there to help you do. So take advantage of those people who are there to support you. And get involved in those programs, because it really helps you get out of your head and remember why you wanted to be there in the first place.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Georgia. The next question is, how long is a typical class?
I can answer that. It really depends on the class you take. I've had classes ranging from 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. 3 hours are typically the longest classes will go, and teachers give like a 15-minute break every hour to kind of, take a break from the screens and such like that. But yeah, it really depends on what classes you take. Some aren't too long, but they're all filled with like discussions and time for open answer sessions. So it goes by pretty quickly. You'd be surprised.
Yeah. So a range between 1 and 3 hours. So Mary's question is last. Thank you so much, Mary. So how many classes did you take at Western campus, and did you enjoy those classes at Western? So how many classes have you taken? And I can just get Shanique to answer this one. Like, how many classes have you taken at Western, and what did you think of them?
So at this point, I think I've taken 5 courses at Western. I enjoyed them. They were a little bit more intimidating because there's so many students in that class compared to being at Brescia. You don't feel as connected to the prof, but it was like a nice change of environment. So I would definitely recommend like dipping your water in the main campus classes.
Yeah, it's good change is good. Branching out is good for sure. So thank you so much for the conversation and for the questions. We really, really appreciate it. We are going to welcome Sophie back in, our MC.
Perfect. Thank you, Angela, for moderating the panel and supporting so many student leaders in their day-to-day work at Brescia. We will now take a short break, and when we return to the main stage, we will discuss academics at Brescia and provide everyone with instructions related to the academic breakout sessions. See you soon at 11 a.m.